surviving the rapture. So this is hell on earth, I guess, right? I am really honored to be here among you guys. Among all the amazing stuff that I see, my kids are out there right now because they don't care to hear me talk. Tearing up the joint. This is my 4th Maker Faire. And so far I've talked about I've talked about failure, I've talked about problem solving, I've talked about obsession, and I wanted to try something different. I wanted to talk about inspiration. There's a lot of inspiration in this room. There's a lot of people finding reasons to be inspired in this room. There's a lot of people traveling and discovering that inspiration is part of this community, and this community is feeding them. And it's one of the really difficult things when you're a lonely 15-year-old, because every 15-year-old is lonely, and trying to figure out what your passion in life is, as I was. Inspiration comes from all sorts of weird places. I was 15 when my friend Tim Podell took me to my first juggling convention, and I discovered that girls actually juggled. Movie. We got back to my house. I grew up in Westchester County, so we had these big wide streets, and I went out. I said to my mom I wanted to go for a walk, and the movie had inspired me so much. I had sort of started to see some kind of field ahead of me instead of just like the steady grind of school. Like I started to see the picture of my life as one where I could actually make choices and I could follow them through, and this was really exciting. And I was walking the streets thinking, yeah, you gotta follow your dreams. That's what you gotta do. You can't compromise. You gotta follow your dreams. This movie was called Flashdance. It's a terrible movie, but the fact that it inspired me is important. A couple years later, Reebok did an ad campaign called Reebok's Let You Be You, and they spelled it U-B-U. Everyone who's my age or older remembers this. Reebok's Let You Be You. Now forget about the fact that they had no knowledge of Alfred Jarret and Pere Ubu and the beginning of Surrealist theater. They actually built this ad on a set of quotes, which I guess had come somewhere out of Bartlett's quotations or something. But this ad, this set of quotes that were in this really, really rocked my world. It really kind of upset me how pointed and important these quotes were. And I'll just give you a couple of them. They were, now understand that these quotes are probably from like 50, 80 years ago, so when they say man, these days we'd say, you know, man or woman, he or she. So it says, whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist. There comes a time in every man's life when he discovers that envy is ignorant. I'd also like to point out my bag here, my beautiful bag, is the bag we didn't blow up during the Valkyrie bombing myth.
That's a nice bag.
Yeah, I get to take some cool stuff home.
Look at all this. How many people knew they were going to come and get a literature lesson from Adam Savage today? That's some good stuff. Thank you. I would like to say thank you. I learned a lot. This man obviously thinks a lot. Come on, I know some of them might not sing in or whatever. What?
Pick one. I see this kid in the light right here with a hat on.
He looks good. Yes.
He looks eager.
What's your name, buddy?
My name is Paul Anderson, and I'd like to ask, how do you ignite thermite on Mythbusters?
Wait, how do I what?
Ignite thermite?
Yeah.
Oh, you mix blur with blur.
Blur with blur.
Don't you remember this? I'm not going to tell you how we ignite thermite.
Okay, first of all, folks, you cannot
Where are your
ask
parents?
questions that we already did. No. Okay, wait a minute over here.
Am I going to get electrocuted standing up?
No, you're totally safe 100%.
Okay.
That actually helps you. Yes. Oh, there's a thermite explosion going on in the South Lot. Because we're in Maker Faire. And that type of thing happens all over the place. Where were you? What's your question? Oh, wait. Talk to me afterwards. $5 an autograph. I'll get you hooked up.
I'm going to be signing autographs right after this in the Maker Shed for an hour.
Okay, talk to me.
Try to get to everybody.
What's your question?
Have you ever broken a bone while testing a myth?
Have I ever broken a bone? I have, but it was somebody else's.
Good answer.
We have luckily had very few injuries in the 8 years and 700 myths of doing Mythbusters. But the two most major ones were two broken fingers, broken while moving around safety equipment. stand behind are actually made of 140-pound slices of bullet-resistant glass. It'll stop a 45 caliber bullet, which is good enough for me. But they weigh a ton, and moving them around is really difficult, and they've fallen on people, and they've broken 2 fingers. I have only broken 1 bone in my body, and it was on my 18th birthday. I was diving off a little rock jetty in Tarrytown, New York, and I dove into another rock that was just under the water, and I broke my neck. I cracked my 7th vertebrae in half, and luckily, I'm still here, not, walking around, at least now.
You look good, too.
Thank you.
Chris, go ahead and ask him this question.
What skill that you don't have would you like most to have?
What skill that I don't have would I like the most to have?
Yeah, he's over here. Look at me. Hey, whoa. Turn around 360 degrees. Okay, turn around again. Over here.
There we go.
There he is.
Music. I would love to play music. I can sing pretty well in the shower and in the car. But I really would love to be able to sit down at a piano and play a little song and sing along with it. It's such a beautiful, graceful thing. I'm in the process now. You guys have heard School of Rock out there playing? They're fantastic. San Francisco Rock Project. Both of my kids have been members for several years now. And both of my children, my 12-year-old boys, Thing 1 and Thing 2, are better musicians now than I ever will be, and that's thrilling. And it's also a little sad. Like, I wish my son sat down the other day at the piano with the guitar tabs for a song he liked and transferred them to 2-handed chords on the piano and was like playing the song on the piano. I was like, suddenly I don't feel the urge to have lessons. There's countless things I would like to learn to do that I, love to do more CAD programming. I'd love to be a better writer. There's an endless list of skills I wish to acquire.
Okay, so we have a gift.
We have a gift.
Yeah, from Vivian. Okay,
I love it. It's a drawing for our drawing wall. That's excellent.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. All things. We take them all. Now, what's your name?
I'm Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
I wanted to know, have you ever had a myth that just truly surprised you with the results? You just didn't expect that to happen at all? It's just like, did that just happen?
Myths that surprised me every single day, and it's no joke. What was the most recent one? I mean, probably the most classic one that surprised the crap out of us was elephants are afraid of mice. So, set of the story is that we're in Africa and we're filming the great white sharks down in Cape Town, and the weather got bad. This hurricane came through and pushed us off the water for 3 days, which from a production standpoint is a disaster. Our crew costs a lot to keep in a hotel, and we're not getting any footage. So what do? We thought, maybe we should go do an elephant and mice story. We just talked it through and decided to head inland to do, we thought it was 5 minutes of filler. And then we made this elephant dung, and we puppeted it so that it would like roll aside naturally and reveal a mouse. And the elephant is walking down the lane and stops and literally does this around the mouse. And then we did it with with no mouse in the poo. The elephant didn't respond at all. And then we did it again with the mouse with a separate elephant. The same thing happened.